Welcome back. A new session. Here I'll try and describe the sale procedure. Like what are the steps involved in a sale transaction. Now, as we have seen in our previous session, generating the lead is the first step and probably the most important step. Now, when it comes to sales, like as we know, we are agents and we do not have our own products. Like our objective is to get a product from a owner and then sell it to the buyer. So you will generate the property listing, or you will get in touch with a property owner who wants to sell the property. Now here, let's say a developer wants to sell a property. Then it's quite easy because the number of properties a developer has is like into probably hundreds and thousands. So it is very easy to find a property. But when it comes to secondary market is where the individual owners are selling their property. So you will generate the lead, you will find a property or a seller who is looking to sell the property. That's the first step. Getting in touch with a property owner who wants to sell the property. Once you found the seller who is looking to sell, you need to get all the property information. Now, going back to one of the sessions where we have described how to become a knowledge broker. So what we are assuming here is you are a knowledge broker of an area. Now you found a property owner who wants to sell the property. Every property may not be same in the area, so it differs. But as a knowledge broker, you know different types of properties. So when you get in touch with the owner who is looking to sell, you will get as much information as possible about a property. The main information you need about a property is number of bedrooms, what is the size, what is the view, is it rented, if it is rented, for how much, etc., etc. So once you get the information about property, the next step is creating a CMA, current market analysis. Again, I think one of this session we have seen CMA. How do you find the value of a property? Because this is crucial. Every owner would like to know how much money he can get for his property. So once you do a CMA, then you inform the owner that as per the CMA, the current market value of a property is, let's say, 2 million dirham. Now, if owner agrees that yes, he is happy to sell the property for 2 million, that is when you move to next step of listing the property. See here, what will happen is every owner, of course, wants the maximum from their property, but it has to be realistic. So as a ballpark figure, we say that if the owner is asking for, let's say, 10% more than the average price, still it is worth listing the property and giving it a try. But beyond 10%, we don't see any point listing because it will be very, very difficult to sell the property. This 10% variation we keep because maybe the property is upgraded, it has a good view, or it is vacant, somebody likes the location. So a buyer may be willing to pay 10% more than the average price. That's why it is okay to list a property for 10% over the market price, but not more than that. So once you have done the CMA, you inform the owner that, yeah, this is what is the market price. And if owner agrees, then you need owner's permission to list the property. See, in Dubai, you are not allowed to list a property unless you have a written permission from the owner. Now, how do you get the written permission? There is a Form A, which is also called listing agreement. So you get the documents from the owner, like title deed and Emirates ID, and then you create this form. It is done online through Dubai Rest, which is the application of land department. And then you will enter all the property details and the selling price, and a link will go to the seller, and the seller can go through all the information and approve the form. So once the seller approves the form, it means that you have got the permission to list and market the property. Without this, you are not allowed to list. So once you get the listing agreement, then you give it to the back office and they will get the RERA permit number. Again, it is mandatory for agents to get the permit number from RERA before you can start advertising. So you've got the listing agreement, you've got the documents. Okay, sorry, there is one more thing. You need to write a description of the property. Because when we want to take a permission from RERA for a permit number, we need to send the listing agreement as well as description of the property. So before getting the permit number, you need to provide the description of the property to back office. Then they will be able to get the permit number. Please remember, back office cannot write description because they are not the agents. So as an agent, you need to write a smart description, a good description with all the main features of the property and then give it to the back office. They will get the permit number. It doesn't take long. I think probably half an hour they'll be able to get the permit number. So once you have the permit number, that is when you can start marketing the property. Again, marketing is putting the property on portals, for which you need the photographs and, if possible, a video. At least 10 photographs, professional photographs, you need to have for a property before you market, because without photographs it makes no sense. So you've got the RERA permit, you got the listing agreement, RERA permit, and then you go take the pictures and then again give it to back office. That is when they will go and enter all the details in CRM for a property to be listed on portals. See, the two major portals in Dubai are Property Finder and Bayut. So from CRM, it will go to both the portals. We do have another 5 or 6 different portals we advertise, but these are the two main portals. So once you give all the details to the listing person, see, again, you yourself can list the property. I would suggest that you list the property, especially when you are just starting, because you know more about the property than the back office. So if it is better you list the property, you will have username, password for the CRM, you log into CRM, enter all property details, put all the pictures, and if you have a video, post that video and then send it to portals. Having said that, we also have a back office support for you, just in case if you're busy and you don't have time, then you can give it to back office and then they will market it. Once the property is listed on portals, you will start getting the inquiries. Now, when you get somebody who is looking to buy this property, arrange for a viewing. And always it is important that you go for the viewing. Do not tell the buyer that, okay, the property is open, you go have a look at it. This is a very bad practice. In reality, you must do all the viewings in person, like accompanied viewings. So, because see, once you go for a viewing, then you will be able to understand the requirements of a buyer, and there will be a good rapport. You can develop a good rapport with the buyer, because it's important. If the buyer likes dealing with you, then he will stick to you. See, there are probably hundreds of agents out there. So why should he stick to you? Because if you provide that personal service, then they'll be happy and they will stick to you. Assuming that after the viewing, buyer likes the property, then buyer will give you an offer. Once you get an offer from the buyer, you will pass it on to seller, do the negotiation, see that both buyer and seller agree on the same price. So that is when the offer gets agreed. Both buyer and seller are happy and they want to go ahead with the deal. So that's a good achievement. Once both the parties agree, then you will create a Form B, like putting all the information about a buyer, uploading their Emirates ID, and the commission, like whether it's selling, seller is paying, buyer is paying, how much they are paying. So you'll create a Form B, which Once the Form B is approved by the buyer, you will get a unique number, and that number you enter in Form A, the listing agreement, and then it will be Form F. So Form A is the form with the seller, Form B is the form with the buyer, and Form F, Unified Sale Contract, is the actual agreement between buyer and seller. And again, it is all digital. They don't need to meet in person. All the parties will get the SMS from land department, and then they click on the SMS, they go through all the details. Once they are happy, they approve it. Once both the buyer and seller approves the form, that is when it gets binding. And at the time of signing the form, there's only one thing you have to remember is to collect the original check from the buyer. Normally, buyers pay 10% deposit to buy a property. The check is written on owner's name, on the seller's name, but to be held by agency. And the same information will be mentioned in the Unified Sale Contract, which is Form F. So at the time of Form F, you get the deposit check. And in general, the commission is 2% plus VAT payable by the buyer, and sometimes like you negotiate with the seller and try and get the commission from both the parties. Whereas that doesn't say how much commission you can charge or who has to pay, it is all mutual. As far as it is writing mentioned in the form, it is fine. Then once the agreement is done, depending on the type of buyer and seller, we will follow other steps and then apply for NOC, no objection certificate. So get the no objection certificate from the from the developer, that they do not have any objection for transfer of property. And then final step is going to trustee office for transfer of property. So these are the steps in a sale transaction. This is how a sale transaction will happen from getting the lead till completion of the contract. Thank you so much.